It went through many stages from initially when we were using what I call the Dragon. It went through many stages from initially when we were using what I call the Dragon, the one that machine that would bite you, you know. Yeah. Area pretty tight. Nothing much has changed other than I think
CRC got a little bigger. Remember that?
I put an extension on there. Yeah. Gosh, this is barely blowing cold too, right now. Yeah, this right now, feel this function right here, Nick? You feel it? It's not blowing as cold as it should right now for whatever reason. And so I would say going into the summer, this may be an issue, Nick, because that'll pop and you'll have to get into the panel to reset it if it gets too hot. It's been right now for some reason. Obviously, you're on here, Nick. Of course, yeah.
Like in the middle of the mountains, right? And he's making it work, you know? Yeah.
100%. So and the thing is, you run into mechanical problems no matter what you and with how we scaled it, you can see how much dust is. Yeah. That's trim. That's
got blessed.
Right. That's Keith.
Oh God.
So that's probably what's restricted the airflow. Yeah, we gravity fed this into a filter so that that we could take any like large particle sediment out of there. We only use distilled water that's bought, and then
How often do you have to top off?
I would say it's part of the SOP to check your fluids in your chillers and your water every time you because if you don't, there's your fit. Because we already killed one taco pump, then you got to have the plumber back out. That pump is pretty much the same pump that's in here as well. And so that pump, if you allow this to run low on fluid, same thing, you smoke the bearings in it, gravity fed into the large particle sediment filter into the taco pump, because that way, I think we talked this through, was if you didn't give it that pressure to prime, the taco pump has issues. So you want to be able to let the unit prime with gravity. And then once it has the water, then it's good. Then it goes right into there, and then through those whole ports right there into the other room, and then down into the collection vessel. This is the old machine that we called the Dragon or whatever that has been extincted. All of our post processing, done right here. You can see some really blonde crude, and if we're staying good on the on changing the chromatography column out, you get that really nice crystallization every single time. And then we use this for filtration.
Oh, this is the Buckner.
The Buckner that we're using. So I mean, yeah.
And then that's the Rotovape you guys use?
This is the old Rotovape, yeah.
The tried and true one that was.
Yeah.
How many years?
It's several years, We drain it now so that because if you keep the water topped off, as we've talked about, this stuff will start rusting, and then you're replacing heating elements. So, yeah. So, okay, yeah, the distillate over here. So that was a 11-liter run or something, I think we did.
You got about 7 back up?
Yeah. Yeah, like I mean, the bottle, its translucency is weird. Yeah. I would say once you get it up to temperature, depending on how much we bought, we did buy that bigger flask for our cold trap so that we could run upwards of 15 liters or something in there. So if I had a huge run like we just did, I would say once we can get into the main body, we're 2-3 hours tops. That sat in front of the Bozeman store for 4 years. And we felt like it was finally, the store had the barnwood and the full rustic look. And we were like, look, we needed to give this thing a more modern facelift. Get the hillbilly truck out of there and paint the store black, put white gravel in, try to give it a facelift, you know? We're in the mix of shutting some of it down and resetting these rooms with full fertigation. So that's kind of like my next mission here. So flower 1 here, a couple things left in here. See, nothing super impressive right now in here. Once this is finished out, we're gonna wipe the whole room down and basically, you know.
Ion LEDs, those are nice LEDs.
Yeah, honestly, they're decent. They're really, it's really bright. And like I say, as this kind of is gonna get completely redone this season. Some genetics that we held on to before we went outside. New plumbing being installed in these rooms, right? And for the purpose of the flood drains, we're putting there's no trench in the concrete, so we're putting new plumbing underneath these trays so that and catching all the condensates from the ACs, so that everything dumps out of the building. Yeah. So there's some moves that need to be made to get us the rest of the way there. They're both 24 light rooms. So, you know, obviously most of what I do at this farm is outdoor, but we're wanting to have some nicer indoor that's more manageable. These are a little better. This is Apex in here, and some Big D energy from Ethos, some Ethos stuff. Phone crushes that. What phone is that?
The 15.
Why doesn't my 15 do that? Yeah, mine don't do that. Again, I think we had some problems with some certain diseases in here, and so as we reset, we're gonna wipe everything down. Again, I built most of this adding and adding to buildings to get where we are. You saw Collective's machine. This is the T2 double tandem twister.
So you do a rough?
We do it a little different with our indoor. It goes up into something like this, and then we take it out of here from this stage and give it to a trimmer for last 10% to finish it up.
Yep.
And then here we go for the rest of the biomass. That's flour.
So is all this biomass like stuff that you've got to run?
Yep. I got more biomass than the other guys. And you know, everybody tells you need this, you need that for store. Bro, we're making quality distillate that hits the third-party testing every time in the low 90s. 2022, 913. So that's not last year's. Some of this is from a 2-year prior trim.
Wow.
Where, you know, you have 2024 that's getting processed ahead of it right now. Obviously, all this 2022 stuff is distillate candidates where, you know, we do have hand trim that comes back from Billings and it's fresher, you know, so kind of depending on what the workflow is, depends on what we were grabbing out of. And our workflow is bottlenecked by our recovery rate, which dictates how far we can go for how many pounds, you know. This is all flour from last year's outdoor harvest, you know. So we still, as I said, we ran it through that machine, how we ran it. And then I think they've got them all. So inside of this, you know, and so we're approaching the new season right now. So this stuff will be sold, you know, will be sold for, you know, $99 ounces, generally speaking, you know.
Oh shit, that's not bad.
Right?
And they got a nose to it still too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's not ultra dry for how old it is. Their plants right now are just sitting out here. These are actually, some of these are mothers that were picked up from Collective Elevation, right? And we're gonna cut these down back for clones. Yeah, we're fully planted. So now, right now, it's just like sit back and wait, let them grow.
Got any favorites?
For Silver OG for us, for Collective Elevation, you saw that Donnie Burger today, and the Donnie Burger is going to be kind of probably my favorite out of all of them. So all this is living soil too, that's been out here for 4 or 5 seasons. I want to say 1,400 Collective Elevation clones out here, and another 1,600 or so YellowStone Buds clones. A lot of them are triple potted, just like this. This, honestly, it's shockingly different here in 2 months. 1.5 per pot, and so there's 1,000 pots out here. So right off that, that's 1,500. And then there's these trenches in the back here that I'll pull another couple hundred pounds out of.
Does this all go to extraction?
No. I sell a lot of $99 ounces out in Billings.
Got it.
But you have 2,000 pounds of trim. So I don't know what the consideration is. You actually have 4,000 pounds of biomass out of here, right? This season, he's working on this row. You see pulling out the tarps. We're gonna replace a lot of the older tarps. We wanna get things kind of weed whacked around everything until they're scorched to the earth. Whereas you see a lot of alfalfa coming up in this second row that he hasn't gotten to yet. Once it fills in, dude, and it will fill in. I mean, truthfully, like I can, with the watering system that we have set up here, 3 to 4 employees can work this field. To be made within this zone.
Actual canopy space.
Actual canopy space could be but again, you got to bring in a couple $100,000 or more dirt, new pots, and we're planning on doing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, right. It's very in the beginning of this, right? But
a lot of people don't get to see this part of it.
Yeah, the start of it.
Yeah.
Or they'll see the clips of the harvest or whatever. Yeah. And it looks to me, it always looks like a boneyard when it's at this stage where it's, you know, just freshly planted, but.
Yeah.
it hasn't failed me yet, this field, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
I mean, you're still kind of doing it the tried and true. Like, very little can go wrong with the tarp,
right.
you know?
As long as you tarp them the proper amount of time.
Yeah. And
Right.
then it just gets second nature at a certain point. So.
Right, exactly. And like, there's like a lot of people had questions for us, like what's the ventilation like underneath the tarp? Can the plants sweat like that? Can they, you know, all those little questions that first time light dep people have, you know, get eliminated with the first time grow, with when the first time they do it and they're like, oh shit, okay, you know. And so this process does work. You know, this is the first year of really me completely unplugging and leaving it to the directives I've given my guys. So that's kind of always, you know, when and after all, this is my craft, so I don't feel like, you know, I want to try to find someone that matches that. How we doing? Two 2,500 gallon tanks with well water. You can see the two spigots over there. So we open all the valves and we have about 7,000 gallons of storage. We fill those up in the evening, and then essentially we add nutrients to the clear tanks in the mornings, and then we're set up on sprinkler valves, zoned off to, you know, there's different zones of the field. We've established 20 different zones to break down the watering. So we got it kind of down to, and ensure it's not, you know, I think the next step for us is, you know, I built that garage back there, is to move the plumbing setup into the garage eventually. That'll probably be the next huge move.
Yeah.